Hey guys, Aries here, going to be doing another one of these coaching analysis-esque videos, and yeah, so it's going to be mainly focused around the bot lane again, because it's the same player who was the Ahri and Kalista. Now they're playing Caitlyn, so I'm going to look at that, but it's not only going to be an ADC video. I'm going to touch on more whole map sort of things, comparable to the other videos. Excuse me, and yeah, let's jump right into it. So it looks like Vlad mid, Lulu top, Lee Sin jungle, and then there you go. Okay, cool. So this lane dynamic, it's I'm going to say it's in the favor of the Caitlyn, because Alistar is more babysit. Because of the range that Thresh and Caitlyn bring to the lane, it's going to be hard for Alistar to get close to combo. And even if he does get that combo, if Thresh is positioning properly, Caitlyn can either trap or net or lantern away. So there's not a lot of pick potential onto the Caitlyn Thresh pre-6. So the most they can hope to do is either wait for Thresh to waste his lantern getting a soul or something like that, or to mitigate some burst from Graves, and then they'll want to be trying to get either an all-in or some sort of jungle harass or assistance. So yeah, so not a super scary bloody lane this game, but yeah. The Thresh started, he got an ability way too early. Same with the Ribbon. Typically you want to get an ability as late as possible, like the Rengar. Maybe he wanted to slow somebody so that Thresh has an easier time landing a hook. And then maybe Caitlyn would want to, like, this is good, how Caitlyn didn't get an ability, because maybe someone runs through this tri-brush. You know, Thresh gets a hook, Rengar jumps in them, bolas them, and then Caitlyn places a trap down on their exit. You get a flash. So now they'll still probably flash just because of the amount of damage here, but you know, you might lose that kill security. So right away you want to be pushing it. Caitlyn wants to gain an advantage by pushing them under tower and trying to control it, getting a lot of free auto attacks off as the ADC focuses on clearing, because early on in the game Graves is going to have to use a lot of mana to wave clear this, either get Alistar to help or he's going to miss some CS here. So yeah, because of that, if you start Q, make sure you Q right at the beginning of the wave, and only Q once before level 2. That makes sure you conserve your mana, but that also makes the wave shove towards your opponents. Now, I am a big fan of starting Trap first on Caitlyn, and using that to zone out your opponents, basically placing it between the melee and ranged minions. That way, Alistar and Graves are wanting to stand here. This is where they're comfortable. If you place a trap where they're comfortable, they're going to have to stand somewhere that they're not as comfortable. So you're getting them outside of their comfort zone at the very beginning of the game. So that's very important to do. And in the other two videos, I've been touching on the concept of initiative and making your opponents respond to you. So by placing the traps down, starting trap first, you are directly making your opponents respond to you, and the lane is in your control because you're making the calls here. So you have the initiative. Now, something to notice is 2 more minions, or maybe 3 more minions, and they're going to hit level 2, and Caitlyn has not used an ability yet. Because of that, it doesn't matter if you've started Q first, because you're not taking advantage of that level 1 utility. With that regard, you may as well have gone trap, because apart from the damage, it's still applying a little bit of damage, but now you're giving CC, now you're giving zone control, you're applying a lot more pressure than not using your Q. So, yeah. Also, not pushing, not sure why. You're really, again, you're completely safe in this lane. Alistar is a very babysit, and if something were to happen, you can just type out to Thresh, you know, stay a little bit further back and lantern me out if Lee Sin comes. And you can actually, like, feel free to type this stuff out in your games. So, yeah. Remaining a little bit even in gold. so that's fine. Has a headshot, doesn't use it on Alistar. That kind of sucks. Thresh has a stack of Relic Shield, or Execute, whatever it's called. Spoils of War. So you could have used the headshot on Alistar and gotten Thresh to kill the minion, and then done that. He would have missed the cannon though. Let's see if he gets it. And again, here, you know that they warded this, so you can tell your jungler, you know, 1 minute ward, bot lane, whatever. Or so just type it. If you can't, if you don't have time to time it, just say Alistar placed a 1 minute ward. Make sure you have timestamps available or showing on your chat. And then when you back, or when there's a little bit of a dead period in the laning phase, you can just kind of hit Z, open up chat, and kind of do the calculation and say, okay, ward runs out, try brush at this time. So, yeah, always keep track of those in here. So this is really bad. Fortunately, the enemy red side isn't taking advantage of it, but you can't actually... Okay, so you can just see Alistar. But what Alistar should be doing is just standing in this brush, not even doing anything, just standing here. And what you should be trying to do is regain control of this brush. Having brush control in lane is extremely important. It'll allow you to either get free poke off on your opponent or get free pressure. So what you can do as the red side is just have Alistar stand in here, pressure them, because you don't know where Alistar is. He could have recalled and had been heading mid. You don't know that, and that's something you don't know. You'll, as the blue side, you'll have to get a ward in here or face check the brush. If you get the face check, that's a free pulverize for the Alistar. So that's very important. And also, maybe they go aggressive on the Graves, thinking Alistar's not there because he's hiding in the brush. Just because of the abilities that blue side's using, the lane will push into Graves, and because of how blue side's playing so scared, or passively, I doubt that they're going to push this extremely hard and actually play the Caitlyn Thresh siege game in the laning phase. So that's going to open them up to overextend, and then allow Lee to get a gank in here. But again, ideally they want to be pushing, they want this shoved in, and then Thresh would want to play a little bit safer to allow Caitlyn to get out if she needs to. But most of the time, you know, Alistar pre-6 isn't that powerful. He has a nice level 4 spike, or level 2 spike. But again, he's very babysit. He's closer to a Janna than he is to a Leona. So, yeah. And again, no abilities are being used, so you're not taking advantage of your mana regen. And because of that, there's a lot of effective gold that's being wasted in your kit. So if you're full health and you're full mana all the time, you're wasting mana and health regen. Now, these aren't actual gold amounts, but you can give them abstract gold value. So what that means is, you know, how much mana regen do you have? Now, based on the most inexpensive form of mana regen, how much gold value are you missing out by not using an ability and benefiting from the mana regen? So really, there's a lot of wasted opportunity with your mana and your health being maxed. So it's something to be aware of, that, you know, Alistar is actually getting more use out of his kit because he's using his mana and health regen. Really weird build though. I actually didn't see that he started 4 mana potions. That's really bad. You should really be taking advantage of this. You know, he doesn't... Oh, jeez. Yeah, so if he's level 2 and you see him using Triumphant Roar, you need to be pressuring this really hard. He doesn't have his combo. He's not building mitigation with the health potions. You know, Thresh has 300 extra HP than Alistar at this point. That means Thresh can trade up to 300 HP inefficient to the Alistar and still effectively be even on the trade. Like, you need, whenever you see something like this, you should be tabbing cycling through. When I mean cycling through, I mean F2, F3, F4, F5 space. That goes through all of your allies, and then it goes back to you because you hit space afterwards. That allows you to see, like, you F2 to Ziggs. You'll see that, okay, he has about a third to a quarter, or a third to half mana, and you know, he wants the back right now. Okay, that's fine. You go to Rengar, you see Okay, he has red buff, he smited the Raptors, he wants to take the blue buff, maybe that's why Ziggs pushes out. Okay, so they're going to be top half of the map. I'm not going to have mid or jungle assistance here in the bot lane, it's just going to be the 2v2. Riven went back, so you know Riven's just going to be here for the next few minutes, so that's fine. But you also know that Lulu has teleport, she might want to teleport down. So that's just information that you can get by cycling through and hitting tab. When you hit tab and you see that Alistar has mana potions, you want to be going as hard as you can. Like, be super aggressive here. And, yeah, so this is going to push into you. So, actually... Okay, no, because you're pushing it out. It's pushing out now. Okay, so that's decent, but again, way too passive. You know, this doesn't need to just be a farm lane. You can be dominating the laning phase, and that's what you should be doing as Caitlyn. Like, okay, yeah, there's the Graves burst, but Alistar isn't opening right. And there's just, like, there's not a lot that they were able to do to stop you. But you need to be trapping around, and that's where Caitlyn gets a lot of her early game lane bully features. You need to be trapping where they're trying to stand. You need to make sure that you're taking advantage of that, because it gets your opponents out of their comfort zone again. Like, you want to make them uncomfortable, and you want to make them responding to you. Now, because you were pushed back so far, you don't have sufficient jungle control, or like river lane control. Now here, this is fine. That flash was unnecessary because Thresh had a lantern. And again, that's where typing at the beginning of the game, Thresh, I'm going to be playing a little bit forward. Stay a little bit further back in case Lee shows up, I want you to lantern me out. And just type that out. That makes sure you don't use your summoners here. And here, Thresh's trinket's up, he should be trinketing in here. That's fine. You don't need to fight this, you delayed the recall, which is fine. No, okay, good. Didn't get greedy for the kill. Yeah, you need to be careful here. So, Rangars is just wasting time here. This is what I mean in the other videos where you want to be just making the most out of your time. Even running down here, you know that there's nothing to grab here. He's not able to dive, they're not 6 yet, just go back and farm. This is wasted time by the Rangar. He could be getting level 5 right now, level 6 at 7 minutes, and that would be a lot more important than, you know, splitting experience 3 ways. Yeah, so the only thing to keep in mind when trying to trade against the Graves is if he's been auto-attacking to clear CS, he has a lot of armor and magic resist. So, and then if he has enough mana for the buckshot, his Q, your Q, plus an auto-attack each traded onto each other, he'll actually win that pretty hard. So you want to be playing this for the laning phase. And then, okay, that was good. Yeah, see, did he pop all 4 of his mana potions? Like, the Alistar build's a little bit weird. But whatever. Now, okay, that was good. Didn't really go too aggressive there. You would have pulled a lot of minions. That's also something to keep in mind early game. If you can start a trade and you know that they're going to be taking more minion damage than you, you want to try and cut around your minions. At the early levels of the game, especially pre-6, minions deal a ton of damage. So yeah, keep that in mind. See, no Graves is warding here again. Time that, just type 1 minute ward Tribrush. And then they'll see that on the timestamp, okay, 7:33, ward's gonna run out, 8:33. That's fine. I'll either do a lane gank when I hit 6, or I will just, you know, wait for that to, either wait for them to overextend super hard so that them seeing me doesn't matter, or I'll just wait, or I'll just ult through it, or something like that. Ooh, that was unfortunate. They shouldn't be able to dive that. Alistar's not 6 yet, so that's fine. Don't, like, get in the habit of not, unless you know you can get every single CS, don't get in the habit of queuing minion waves when they are under tower. Just do the CS practice: two tower shots, one auto attack for melee, and then 2 auto attacks, 1 tower shot for ranged. Don't even worry about trying to kill them as fast as possible. If you save your mana, if you save the cooldown, it's going to be a lot better for you, and you know you're not going to miss any CS. So here's the teleport from Lulu. Right here, I'm going to ping top lane, spam ping this. Spam ping this as much as you can. Make sure Riven knows to take this as fast as possible. She may not be paying attention to where Lulu is. So spam ping this tower. There's no pinging going on. That's way too late to ping that. This gives them time to respond to Riven. If Lulu teleports down here, Riven can start applying this a lot more, and by the time they're able to respond, this tower is already gone. So, yeah. That was decently close. A little early by Ziggs, but again, you're not really going to steal anything from a Lee Sin Q smite. So, nice try though. But yeah. Something I do when I'm Ziggs is as soon as I hit level 6, I ult the minion wave. As soon as you hit Ziggs, or as soon as you hit 6 as Ziggs, there's going to be a siege wave. So what you can do is Q ult and you completely clear the cannon wave. That allows you to have a free recall, because then if your laning opponent wants to stay in lane and actually make sure that that doesn't push to tower, he's going to have to take minion aggro from like 7 minions, and that's not going to happen. He's going to miss out, or he's going to lose a lot of HP. So regardless, if you ult like that right at the beginning of the wave, like as soon as you hit 6, you are going to make sure that it pushes into him, and you'll get it free back. Also, as soon as you back off of that 6, red buffs or blue buffs going to be spawning, either right away or in a minute, because you hit 6 around 7 minutes. Again, blue buff would spawn either 7:20 or 8:30, around there. So it's just a really nice timing on Ziggs, because you can Q, ult, recall, get your chalice, get your Morellos, whatever, come back to lane, items, mana, go get blue, come back to lane, and you're good to go. Most of the time, if you ult like that, your ult will be back before any big teamfights start. Permitted, your bot lane doesn't feed, and you give them dragon. This was a improper timing by the Alistar, or it's just improper communication. Now, I've been in that situation where I go to roam and my ADC dies. I've also been in the situation where that doesn't happen. And the main thing you have to do when wanting to roam as a support player is tell your ADC, I'm going to be roaming, stay safe. And then you make sure that they acknowledge it. Or like, don't die, I'm going mid. And you just make sure that nothing happens to your carry. If your carry is not able to farm safely, there's no reason you should be leaving lane as support. So, yeah. So they ping Lee. This positioning is fine, because if Thresh Lanterns, you can get out safely. Like that, yeah, so that's good. So it's perfectly fine to stay relatively far up here. Running in like that before the lantern comes up, though, is bad. Yeah, so that was really, really greedy. You effectively missed 3 CS. Like, you died for 3 CS, basically. That's what happened. So 3 CS, that's 60 gold. 60 gold does not equal the 300 gold that you gave him for the kill. And the bait for Rengar. So 3 CS for 2 kills. Gonna be 3. Okay, so 2 kills still. But again, 3 minions for 600 gold. So that's a pretty good trade for red side. Really, really bad decision. If you have to disengage with the Thresh Lantern, don't re-engage before that lantern comes up. So, yeah. Your flash was also still down a little bit, I think. Because of that last engagement over here where you had to flash right away. But, yeah, so really, really, really greedy. And again, it's if you can do something safe, even if you lose out a little bit of gold or experience, it's a lot better than doing a really risky play that doesn't have as much payoff. That was weird positioning. If his ult was up, you'd almost die. yeah, you'd be dead. It deals over 400 damage, and you have 44 armor. So if he would have used it right away, you may have died. If he's able to use it in auto attack, yeah, that would have been a death. And also something I see, okay, one, you're not using your trap at all. You know, zone with it. I give the example up here. You know, if you trap right here, you're cutting the lane in half under their tower. It's going from this wide to this wide. That also means if you go to land a skill shot and they have to run this way, they're landing on a trap. If they land on a trap because you're zoning them and they're relatively low, that gives you vision to ult them. So you know, zone with it. Place a trap here, place a trap here, you know, maybe place a trap over here or around here. Just cut the lane up. That's what you want to be doing with Caitlyn with her traps, and likewise with Ziggs with his E and his W. So you're not taking advantage of something that makes Caitlyn really strong, and you know, because of that, you're falling behind in the lane, and you're not having as much of an impact early game as a Caitlyn player would need to in order to get a sufficient gold advantage for your team, so that they're able to help you through your crappy mid game. So make sure you're using that trap. Don't just place it in brushes. Don't just use it for vision. Like, that's fine. You can use it for a little more of a defensive fallback, but again, you're making use of those traps to make your opponent uncomfortable, or to set up picks. I mean, place them in places that people tend to run. If you see that they're avoiding the traps, just place them, like, look at what your opponents are doing, look at their movement tendencies, and try to place traps according to that. That's what people refer to as like counter logic or counterplay. That's fine to do. Don't always just start off trying to counterplay your opponents, because you don't know if they understand the meta or how to play in the first place. So now you're basically resorted to freezing because you fell so far behind. Graves, again, I place him right at the top of solo queue for ADCs. He's extremely strong. Caitlyn's still up there, but Caitlyn is a little more demanding to play because you need to know how to properly play her in the early game. Graves, you just kind of run around shooting things. Caitlyn, you gotta worry about your zone control, your positioning, your... Oh, and something else I was going to say. You're not taking advantage of your 650 range. And that's something huge. Graves has a 525 range, and you need to be taking advantage of that. 125 range, that's basically melee range difference. So that's huge. So you need to be taking advantage of that. You know that if you want to auto attack Graves, he's going to have to either run into you or E into you. And if that ever happens, don't rage at the Thresh. Like, shit happens, whatever. If he's doing that on purpose and he's just being a really toxic player, mute him, but don't feed the trolls, and don't get him tilted. So getting your allies tilted is a really good way to lose a game. And yeah, it looks like that's what you're doing, because now you're taking all of the relic shield stacks away from him. So you know, don't do that. That's really bad. That's a really easy way to lose the game, and most of the time, a lot of the things that are holding players back from climbing is their personality and their approach to the game. Like, emotionally, it's their EQ. So don't like, it's fine if he missed this. He wasn't going to line anything up later, in the sense that even if he landed a hook and he did a full combo, you're still not going to win the trade because you're just so far behind. So it doesn't matter that he used these, because you probably would not be able to capitalize off them anyways. So it's fine. Don't worry about that. Go back and ward here. You haven't used your trinket in a while. Make sure you're safe before you're pushing. I would auto the first one in the queue, and then try to go back after the cannon wave. But again, not using the trap, not placing your trinket, really, like, just two huge things that really affect the game. So this is basically going to a math exam saying, okay, you can use a ruler, calculator, and a cheat sheet, but then going to your exam and not bringing those. They're things that are that you're allowed to use to better your performance, that you're choosing not to use. Now the only thing is make sure you have 75 mana for the Caliber Net. It doesn't matter if you have mana for your Q, make sure you have enough, make sure you're sitting on at least 75 to run away. Right here, if you wouldn't have Q, you would have been able to trap either right here or right here, cut the lane up again, and then you'd be able to E out. So the Q didn't do anything, you still lost the tower. Yeah. So again, you lost a lane that you should not have lost, and that was just because it wasn't played right right from the start. So that kind of play shows me that maybe you'd be better off playing someone like Tristana or Kog'Maw. So that sort of play is just your super defensive late game play. You're investing into the late game. And Caitlyn, you play for the early game. Caitlyn's like Draven. You really want to play her for the early game. Or even like Ezreal for the early game. Like really, really, really strong. Push into the tower, just try and get as much poke harass as possible at the beginning of the game. Zone with your trap, that's why I like starting it. And you know, basically snowball the lane out of that. It's really important as Caitlyn that you get a really, like a 7-minute tower. You take a 7-minute tower, you rotate mid, you take a 12-minute mid tower. Or something around there. You take 2 really early towers so you can get a pre-15-minute dragon. Typically, that's typically what you're trying to do. That way, you can have a stat and a gold advantage for your team through global gold, so that when you fall off in the mid game, when Graves starts to get a little bit stronger, it doesn't really matter because Ziggs is sitting on like 2 items, Rengar's on 2 items, Riven has a little bit of a buff because of the 2 towers of global gold, and then the rest of your team can basically compensate for your, well, again, your shitty mid game. So, yeah. Trapping and warding isn't advised. Your trap gives vision, your ward gives vision. If you want to ward this brush, trap over here so you get the wider vision. That's going to give you more information on the map. So you see that there are 2 people down here. You don't need to be here right now. You know they're going to push this in. If they weren't going to push it, there would only be 1 person here. Since there are 2 people here, they want to push it and maybe call Rengar down for a dive. Because of that, you know that they're basically committed to the bot lane, at least for the next 20-30 seconds. So what you can do is you can tell your team, you know, make something happen mid lane. It's going to be a 4v3. So here you see Alistar running up. That's fine. They should really be trying to make something happen here, get a little more vision here. You do not need to call Thresh down. At this point, you should tell Thresh to group with the team, and you should just stay here to get as much free farm and solo experience as possible. And again, the way you should word this is not to say like, Thresh, what the fuck, go mid. You should just say, I can solo my lane, push mid, or something like that. Now you need to be careful about Graves here. He is level 11, and if you call people down here, you don't know where they are. They could be waiting for your team and get a really nice collapse going, and then you can just bait them into a really bad team fight. Yeah, so he's level 11, and at this point he's a lot further along in his build than you. Looks like he's going static Shiv. I don't really like the Shiv build. It's fine because apart from Lulu, they don't have a ton of wave clear. But I do like the Ghost Blade or the Phantom Dancer. But here, again, Graves has a lot of burst. You can't actually trade against him, but you should just be waiting for him to push in. And then clearing under tower. So, but again, you shouldn't have positioned yourself in a way to let yourself die. And then blame Thresh for that. You do not do that. It's not your support's fault that you died there. You died 1v1 in a situation that you shouldn't have. It was unnecessary opportunity for your opponent. So you should have just made sure that your team is grouping up, making sure they're pushing mid, and then staying safe bottom and getting as much safe farm as you can. At this point, you're not going to kill Graves. He has a much stronger mid game than you. You just want to be getting as much safe CS as possible without giving them a lot of gold from kills. Hopefully, you know, Riven would be able to snowball, or Rengar or Ziggs would be able to snowball, or at least keep you guys alive until you are what's the word, significant in the late game. So that would be the game plan. So now it would just be seeing if your allies can snowball for the late game, or snowball the mid game in your favor, or at least make sure you're safe for the late game. So here, this positioning is a little bit iffy. You could have been a little bit further down here, at least getting autos off. Seeing that lead, okay, so that was unnecessary. That was a blown cooldown. If they were to follow up on that, you wouldn't have an escape, or you'd have to burn your flash. So, yeah. And at this point, yeah. So the trap is fine. I would have trapped a little bit closer. That way, all three of your traps would be working together. Treat them like ghost stones. You want to make sure that your groups are working together and all nicely like that. Like, this trap isn't necessary. This trap isn't necessary. No one's going. You're not able to capitalize on this. At least trapping around here is going to pressure them back, or pressure them around, so maybe they wouldn't take this tower as quickly. That was very committed, but they should still get this tower. And again, trapping around the tower would have been a little bit better. That way, if they want to be aggressive like that, they would have to stand on a trap, take tower aggro, everything like that, and the Alistar mispositioned and ended up dying for it. But yeah, so at this point, you know that it's a 4v3 and Graves is running away from Riven. Vlad's gonna collapse onto Riven, so I would ping her back. Okay, so that's fine. Not sure where everyone else is. Oh, there's the teleport. So you're able to see that. This is way too overextended. Lulu's still decently strong at this point. That was a nice flash. Ooh, no, this is bad. This is improper ADC positioning. If there's someone here and there's someone there, again, you play like a little bitch, because that's what you are. You're super squishy. You're Caitlyn. You're only on Infinity Edge. You can't two-shot a Vladimir. You need to maximize your range here. So I forget who said this. I forget when I read this. At this point, it's common knowledge for me, so I'll just say it. ADCs are best equipped to deal with tanks on a team. They build crit, they build pen, they build Blade of the Rune King. Out of any other player in this game, you are the best equipped to deal with a tank. Because of that, you should not be putting yourself in a disadvantageous or a reckless or a careless or a dangerous position to attack a high priority target. So it's like the you're trying to balance attacking the priority target versus the safer target, and finding that balance is what will allow you to position properly as an ADC. So it's extremely important to, at least as you're learning the role, only attack the safe targets. If you're able to safely attack Lulu from the brush, forcing her into the brush and then hitting a trap and then like maybe positioning this way and still get free autos on her, sure, Vlad's low, but now you're just trying to auto-attack Vlad. He's able to lifesteal or spellvamp from the minions, and Lulu's going to kill you. So this is bad positioning. So, always make sure you stay safe in teamfights as an ADC, and it doesn't matter who you're attacking as long as you can attack them safely. So, I think it was a CLG game or a Cloud9 game where someone was playing Kalista, and the thing that turned the team fight is that Kalista was able, or it may have been another ADC, or Sivir or something like that, but they were able to turn the fight because their ADC got a lot of free auto attacks off. Now that doesn't mean that they got a lot of free auto attacks off onto the enemy APC or ADC. Even if you're just attacking like Vlad and Alistar the entire game, if you can crit 2 or 3 times, that's still a lot of damage that's going off on them. So at this point, don't follow your team. You're better off split pushing. At least pushing this out past river. This applies more pressure. and it tries to gain a little bit of initiative. So at this point, red side is in complete control of this game, and you're going to have to respond to whatever they're going to want you to do for the next 7 minutes. So, and I'm just giving relative timers because I'm sure they're going to want to take the next dragon, so that's like roughly 6 minutes, or 3 minutes in there. It's going to take some time to establish vision control, and then if they want to contest a Baron, it's still going to take a lot of time. So, yeah, so at this point, it's not a I should have grouped with my team. It's a, you know, they shouldn't be that aggressive. And in a lot of my warding videos, I talk about line of scrimmage, which is basically, typically I've said it's where your minions are, but obviously you're not able, like the line of scrimmage, it's not going to be here, or the territory line. You're not safely able to farm this as the blue side, so the line of scrimmage is just going to be your outer towers, till about, you know, right here, to this first break because of the gate now. So it's from about here, up to this tower, through the first little bit of jungle, not really up to this point, but at least to wolves, and then down through here to this tower. Anything further than that is extremely dangerous to be in, especially because you have no vision control. So what you should be trying to do at this point, and again, I focus a lot on these macro scoped questions, where it's what do we do now? So, and again, you'll be at this point in a lot of your games, in, you know, half of your games, because the ladder tries to make you lose half of your games. That's called efficient matching, like matchups. You know, that's how the matchmaking system works. In order for you to be where you're at in terms of skill level, you're going to lose about half of your games. Perfect, cool, makes sense. Now that means you're going to lose half of your games. Be prepared to lose 50% of your games. In the games you lose, you can expect to have a goal deficit. This is one of those games. So how do you play when you're at a goal deficit? Well, most of the time you'll be at a goal deficit, so your vision will start to falter. And you'll be looking at a lot of fog of war. So the first thing you need to do, and this is like your big highest priority thing in any of the games that you play, is if you're falling behind, the best way to come back is to set up a lot of vision. I don't care if you're the ADC. Saving 75 gold that results in your support getting caught out, giving them 300 gold, is an inefficient trade for your team as a whole. So sacrifice the 75 to 100 gold in order to save your allies. That'll make sure that your deficit doesn't keep increasing, and that'll make sure that there is at least some vision contention, and you might be able to make picks in a little bit. They won't be able to get as many free moves as they are right now, killing, you know, Rengar, Thresh, setting up vision, getting free jungle camps, setting up for Baron. They won't be as freely able to do that if you have a little bit of vision pressure on them. So main priority whenever you're falling behind is buy more wards, and that's extremely important. It doesn't matter who you are, just make sure you're warding the map. And again, I think I gave this example in one of the other videos. I may not have uploaded it, but Season 2, Season 3, before they changed around vision for Season 4, I would carry a lot of my support games just by buying like 2 or 3 stacks of green wards and making sure that there is next to no vision, or next to no fog of war on the map for my team. I'd ward absolutely everything, and that carried me to gold. I would play Lulu, I'd get Mobies, I'd get Gold Gen, I'd get, you know, Runic Bulwark, I'd get Sightstone, I'd get a bunch of wards. I wouldn't get pink wards, but I'd get an Oracle Elixir, and I'd just start warding the map with my super speedy, like, Whimsy with Mobies. And I'd just be going around warding everything. And my team never gets caught out, because they know exactly where everyone is. I have the Oracles, so their team is completely blind. So that puts the control back on my team, and we can start making decisions. We'll have the initiative, the enemies will have to respond to us. So, at the very least, by warding up and contesting vision control in your jungle or around your inhib towers, that sort of thing, it stagnates the game. And that's fine, because you have a superior scaling ADC. Yes, they have Vlad, Alistar, Lulu, which is pretty scary, but you know, Ziggs, Caitlyn, Rengar, yeah, okay, he falls off, but You know, Caitlyn and Ziggs, they have a lot of clear siege, long distance poke, and they can make a lot happen. So, not leaving base with 500 gold without any elixir, potions, or wards, huge mistake, should not be made at the high gold, low plat level. These are things that you'll have to make sure that you're doing if you want to climb. So, yeah. And like, these are just very easy things. They're like building workers in StarCraft. They're things that shouldn't even be thought about. It should just be, okay, I'm leaving base, I'll right-click wards a couple times, or I'll right-click my health potions a couple times, get a few more for me. That's an extra 150 effective HP for 2 engagements. That might be enough to save you or win a fight, because that's, you know, it's almost an auto attack. So maybe you'll win a trade by an auto attack. Happens enough times that potions are extremely important. 150 HP, maybe you'll survive that last tick of Ignite now. And now your opponents aren't able to get a lot, because now you can go back and get some home guards. They're pushing the base, but you're there to defend. So always make sure you're leaving with potions and wards. Like, always, 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 always. That trap was good. Probably not going to kill him, just because of how beefy he is. So there's the hook, but again, there's the follow-up. And here, there was absolutely no vision here. Like, into the river, you didn't know if anyone was coming. Vlad died, but 2 people there, you don't know where Graves is. That's the thing. Like, way too squishy. You were positioning way too close to Alistar. And again, you can let him get away. He burnt his ultimate. That allows you to do whatever you want for a minute. Again, that's a minute of free farm. That's a minute for free wards. That's a minute for free tower poke. That's a free recall for you. That allows you to farm up for your static shiv. Like, that's the free raptor camp. Killing raptors gets you shiv. Like, you don't have to get this kill. Getting this kill is really risky and most of the time unnecessary. So just stop chasing. Don't be as aggressive. You get a small advantage by making him burn his exhaust and his ultimate. Forces him back, and it pressures because of the vision here, so they know that you know that it's, or they know that you can see what's in that brush. So that's more important for your team at this point in time than getting the kill on Alistar, their primary tank. So yeah, so that was a little reckless. Graves might die here if Ziggs can line the stuff, which he cannot do. Okay. That was fine. They should just back out though. Way too low. Yeah, so let's just get past this a little bit. So there goes Rengar for the sit cleanup. They should have the Dragon Timer on this. And again, a way to keep track of Dragon Timers, even if you can't see it, is to always keep your opponent's avatar selected at the top left, or the top right if your UI is flipped, but I think it's top left all the time. Excuse me. So you can see how many stacks of Dragon Slayer they have. As soon as you notice it change, depending on how long it was between the last time you checked, that will give you your variance on the time that Dragon died. So then you can make a fairly accurate statement about when Dragon will spawn. So even if you don't have the timer, even if you checked like 3 minutes too late, as long as you're keeping their avatar selected and keeping an eye on this Dragon Slayer buff, you'll know when Dragon fell, like at every point in time. And this is also why vision is extremely important. If you don't see them for like 2 minutes, because you don't have any ward control, you can't check to see when Dragon died. So now your lack of vision control is basically freely giving up dragons. Like, more so than it normally does. So again, the most important thing about this game is controlling vision. That's it. It's like StarCraft. How do you get ahead in StarCraft? You know what your opponents are doing, what they're building, how they're playing, where they're positioning, where they're expanding, and you exploit that. How do you do that? You scout. You make sure that you know where they are, or you can infer where they are based on other aspects of the game. And you need to do that in this game as well. You know, why... it's like chess or Battleship. Like, you can't... you can't actually play the game until you know where your opponent is. And it just so happens that a big part of the game is knowing where your opponent is, knowing where they're moving, know where they've been, know where they can be, And like there's a ward there, so what you do is you left click on the ward, you see who placed it. Oh, Vlad placed it. Okay, so we know that that ward was placed by Vlad. He doesn't have his trinket now. So Vlad is around here. Even if we didn't see him, we can left click on the ward and see that Vlad was around here. So because Vlad is here, who else might be there? Well, Vlad's pretty mobile, so who knows. But okay, so they had the dragon timer. Dragon's up. Do they want to fight this? Riven is equally as far away from the team as Graves. That's fine. Ziggs isn't a little bit of a more dangerous situation than Lulu, because she's running in a straight line into the direction that or into the opposite direction that the team is pushing. So she's running into the team. You're getting pincered. That's it. And then Graves is kind of off on his own. Well, you're running away from, like, you and Ziggs are going to be running the same way. That's really dangerous for Ziggs because they can just turn and pincer into Graves. Riven, again, equally as far away from Graves, so she's not really in this fight. Graves isn't really in this fight. But for the positioning, because you guys are running this way into Lulu, their team is running into Lulu, you guys are running away from Ziggs. This is a really bad fight. You should just try to see if you can steal it. Try to gain an advantage elsewhere, at least stagnate the game. So there, that's the situation. And there was no ping back. Make sure you're pinging. If you know and you recognize this to be a really bad fight for you, spam ping back. Just tell everyone to get out and just try to stagnate the game until you're all on 6 items so that the gold difference doesn't matter anymore. That should be what you're, like, if it's just unfathomably, if you fall unfathomably far behind, the best thing you can do is stagnate the game to the point where everyone's on 6 items and the gold difference doesn't matter. That's the best case scenario when you're really far behind. And then on top of that, it also assumes vision control. So throughout all of that, it's not just turtle and don't have any vision control, it's you're always fighting for vision control, but stagnate the game. Make sure that it's, if you're going to lose, it's to a point where you have the best chance of winning. So don't just say, you know what, we're losing. We might be able to win in 20 minutes, but I feel like losing right now. So that's not that great. If you know you can wait it out until the point where you and Ziggs get a ton of clear, a ton of damage, and can basically stop any sort of push, you know, you want to be in that situation. That's a much favorable situation for you. And I touched on this in the Callista video. Most people are climbing ladder because they want to be the best, they want to be right at the top, and if you're the best, you need to know how to win games in this situation. And I related that back to the Cloud9 versus Samsung game in the Season 4 Worlds, where you had High being all like Metal Gear as Zed, you know, going through the brushes and trying to backdoor an inhibitor because that's the only way they could win. And it almost worked. It was a really nice play. You could really see that they're a really strong team in terms of team-oriented play. But again, that's how they had to win that game. They're not just going to say, you know what, we're behind, let's just team fight so the game's over. You need to know how to win games in like a 10k gold deficit. And you know, if you practice that, if you practice how to do different things, the outcome's going to be the same. You know, you might still lose the game, but when you stall it out and actually think about what you should properly be doing in the situation, you will learn more from this loss than if you just team fight and just say, you know what, it was Thresh's fault, we lose the game, let's just jump into another one. So again, as you're progressing, it's not as much about winning or losing, it's learning as much as you can and trying to improve as fast as you can. And basically it goes back to the whole, you know, Doublelift's lost more games than I've ever played. So he's had a lot more instances to learn from his mistakes than I have, like, possibly ever even had the opportunity of doing. So just try to make sure you're learning as much as you can from your losses, because you didn't have to contest this dragon. So this wasn't, you know, this wasn't Thresh's fault for mispositioning here. This was the team's fault, or even your fault for not telling him not to do that. Don't assume that your opponents know what, or your allies know what they're doing. They're in gold for a reason, or silver, bronze, wherever you are on the ladder. For someone else watching this, don't assume that your allies are perfect, because most of the time they are where they are on the ladder for a reason. It's because they pretty much belong there, and if you want to climb, you have to play above them and you have to play above your opponents. So yeah, So most of the time, you are going to be the primary shot caller for your team. You're going to be pinging, you're going to be typing, you're going to be telling everybody where to go. So at a point like this, you need to tell Thresh, place wards here, here, here. Place a pink ward here. And then say like, okay, Rengar, can you place a ward here? Riven, go this way. And actually direct your team, micromanage everything. You need to be playing it as if you're controlling all 5 champions and just telling them where to go. But again, it's like being a manager, so to speak, or a a project leader, where you can't just tell everyone. You don't want to order them around. You don't want to piss them off. So do it in a way that's, at the very least, polite. And you know, then it'll be a lot better, or they'll be willing to help you a lot easier. But it looks like they're going to tap out with the surrender vote. I don't like surrendering in ranked. Again, there was always a way to come back. If they were to force the game to 40 or 50 minutes, to the point where gold differences don't matter, they would have had a decent chance of coming back. 6-item Caitlyn versus 6-item Graves. As long as Caitlyn can dodge the buckshot and the ultimate and stay out of his auto attack range, you know, you'll win. Yeah, and that would have been the best chance to win the game. So, don't always feel like you need to contest objectives. If doing so puts you in a really, like, don't contest an objective if the end result is worse than just giving them the objective. Pretty obvious, right? Well, that's what I've been seeing at every dragon fight in this game. So, it's alright to say, you know what, we messed up at the first dragon, let's not contest it next time unless we have complete control. And even if we lose this dragon, we have something else to gain. So it's fine to contest this and say, you know what, we might all die if we contest this dragon. We might lose this dragon, but it's fine because Riven's pushing top and can grab a tower anyways. So you're still gaining something off of the initial dragon pressure. So that's also something that's talked about in Go a lot, is you want multi-purpose moves. I think I mentioned that in another video, where contesting dragon should be a multi-purpose move where it contests dragon and a side lane. You know, most of the time if it's dragon, it's going to be top lane, so make sure that by contesting dragon, you're pressuring dragon and top lane, dragon and mid lane, you know, dragon and red buff, something like that, dragon and an inhibitor. So make sure you're always doing these multi-purpose moves when you're dealing with objectives. So again, don't just say, you know what, I'm pressuring top lane, I'm going to be pressuring top lane, and because of that, my team's going to be in a position to pressure Baron. So taking top lane also pressures a lot of other things. It's a multi-purpose move. That way it can help swing the game back in your control. You can help regain the initiative. Your opponents will have to respond to you. And at the very least, it slows down the game to the point where this goal deficit doesn't matter anymore. So I think that's all I'm going to touch on this video. So again, it was a pretty big steamroll. A lot of issues with the Caitlyn play. And if you're a player who doesn't do basically what I said regarding playing Caitlyn, either practice playing her properly with traps, start trap, start zoning, get used to playing around her trap and pushing and taking advantage early on and pushing them under tower, getting as many free auto attacks onto them while they're under tower to make them miss farm to the tower as much as possible in the early game. If you can't do that, don't play Caitlyn. Play someone else. If you're just going to be that passive, at least play someone who has a stronger late game and mid game. Someone like Twitch, someone like Kog'Maw, someone like Tristana or Corki, Ezreal. Overall, I would say Graves is the best, but if you want to play more aggressive early game champion, play Caitlyn. If you can't deal with her lane or zone control, play Draven. But again, if you can't work with Caitlyn's in-kit utility, don't play her. So yeah, that's about it. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, check out the links in the description, follow me on Twitter, like my Facebook page. And if you want me to go over any of your own games, if it's someone else watching this video, feel free to send me the game in video or LOL replay format, or just message me anywhere and ask me to spectate. So yeah, thanks for watching.